The football world is still reeling over the collapse of a Buffalo Bills player in Monday night's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. The game was postponed after medics rushed to the field to give Damar Hamlin CPR. So what happened to make him fall after he got up from a tackle? A Lubbock man is keeping a watchful eye on this because he is connected to the incident personally and professionally. Even sitting down, you know Scott Shermer is a big guy. At 6'5", football is in his DNA. He was a lineman at the University of Tulsa after watching his dad, defensive coordinator Fritz Shermer, coach the Packers to the Super Bowl in '96. They won that game, and Scott has the Super Bowl ring. In Scott's office today, he keeps a football schedule for the Buffalo Bills on his wall because his nephew Kyle Shermer is on staff there. Dr. Scott Shermer is also a cardiologist, and he says when Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, several things went through his mind.
First, I thought he might have torn his aorta. Sometimes blunt trauma can do that, so I was worried about a C1 fracture. That's what happened to Reggie Brown in 1997.
That spinal cord injury ended Brown's career with the Detroit Lions.
Well, that wasn't the case either. So clearly it was a cardiac arrest.
Andy says of the three, cardiac arrest is actually the best option, especially in young athletes.
Good coverage by Hamlin, the safety.
And at a big event where paramedics are close at hand and CPR is prompt. So what made Hamlin's heart stop after what seemed to be a routine blow to the chest?
This is the last thing you want to see.
Dr. Shermer says the speculation is a condition called commotio cordis.
That's a condition which a blow is struck to the chest doesn't have to be severe or forceful at all. It just has to be exactly the right moment in the cardiac cycle where it changes the electricity and sends the heart into a non-life sustaining rhythm. It's most common actually in young recreational Little League type athletes.
Although rare, he says it's the reason some Little Leaguers wear protective chest gear. But in Hamlin's case, commotio cordis is the best guess until we learn if there might be an underlying heart issue, which occasionally shows up later in life. You may remember Matt Nader, a high school football star in Austin with ties to Lubbock because both his parents attended medical school at Texas Tech. That training was lucky for Matt. When he collapsed on the field during his senior year, his parents took turns giving him CPR for 5 minutes until an ambulance arrived. Later, it was learned that he had a heart defect. Matt Nader lives with a pacemaker today and encourages schools to keep an AED on hand at every sporting event. Dr. Shermer agrees that is the key to saving lives.
What any parent of any recreational athlete should know, if there's any risk of any collision or even significant physical exertion, have an AED on site. That's the most important thing.
In Texas, it is required that there should be at least one AED on every school campus, and he says, don't wait on a professional to use it if it's needed. Instead, he says, turn it on. It will walk you through what you need to do step by step.
And full disclosure, the Naders are your cousins.
Yes.
You covered that story extensively.
And what a blessing that Matt made it through that. And he's remarkable now. He's spoken all over the state to encourage others to understand the need for an AED everywhere.
That's great.